Merriam-Webster defines the rat race as the unpleasant life of people who have jobs that require them to work very hard in order to compete with others for money, power, status, etc. And this is how we choose to explain the rat race. Number 10. Defining your big dreams after college. College is where you start defining your big dreams. You know what you want to do when you graduate. You're the one your friends talk to when they want any math problem solved. So you know that numbers are going to be your thing. You have fun and go to every college party, even when you're not invited, while you and your friends break a couple of school rules. You've already defined your dreams and know what you want to do with your first check. You'll probably buy a new mattress when you're moving out of your parents' house, and a 43-inch television, or a 65-inch if you're a big dreamer. You also plan to save lots of cash, drive the latest cars, and wear crisp, clean suits to the office. You meet with your college friends after school or on weekends and discuss how life is going to be outside, how much money you'll make, how you'll paint the town red every weekend, and relive the good old days. Number 9. The start of the rat race. So, you've graduated college and have gotten your first job. It's not as a junior accounts assistant at PwC, which is your dream company to work for. It's as a dishwasher for Domino's Pizza. You don't feel pressured because you just graduated college and responsibilities haven't started piling up yet. But your parents think you've come of age and want you out of their basement and even help you look for an apartment. You start feeling the pressure because earning $9 an hour and working 8 hours a day earns you $72 a day. That's $360 a week, which is hardly enough for rent, food, and transport, and still have enough money left to buy your big screen TV set. You start looking for a second job, which means you could be working 16 hours a day. That leaves you with 8 hours a day to commute to and from work, eat, shower, clean, hang out with your friends and family, and sleep. Soon enough, your money is not enough for you to live on, and you start looking for a higher paying job that's in line with your academic qualifications. And the first place you think of is your dream company, PwC. And because Lady Luck is smiling down on you so hard, you get the job as a junior assistant, on probation, of course. What you probably don't realize at that moment is that the rat race that will steal most of your prime years has just begun. Number 8. Friends become a memory. You work towards proving yourself so you get through probation and get a contract. You do the hard jobs that no one else wants and even become the errand boy for the accounts department. You're the first one to come in and the last one to leave, but hey, no complaints, right? You work weekends when everyone else is spending time with friends and family and promise your friends that you'd make it to your meetup when you're done with work. But by the time you close, you're too exhausted to make the meetup and go home instead. With time, your connection with friends becomes more distant because they are also chasing their dreams and aspirations, being sucked into their own rat race. As you push forward and get the contract, you get transferred and move out of the city. You go back every once in a while and try to call up friends to meet and catch up, but only 1 or 2 friends show up. After a while, no one is free or around to meet, and soon all your friends become a memory. Number 7. Chasing the promotion. You have worked hard but are tired of being in a cubicle, sharing space, and listening to office gossip. There have been job interviews advertised in the various departments, and you and your colleagues have started the competition to get the promotion. You've been sacrificing your time and social life so you can climb the corporate ladder, and it shows by how many accommodations you get from your superiors. You work harder because you're addicted to the feeling of being the best in your department, and the salary says it all. In the long run, you're the one that gets picked for the promotion. You're out of the cubicle as you had hoped, and are now in your own office. But with your promotion comes bigger responsibilities and demands. No one is going to hand you a 5-figure salary on a silver platter, right? You have fights with your significant other because you hardly create time for them, but you convince them that you're doing this for them, which is enough to keep them quiet for a while. Number 6. Upgrading your living situation. As your finances improve, you also want to upgrade and get a better house, a better car, better gadgets, and so on. And the first thing you do when you get your big salary is hunt for a better house than the one you currently have. You get a nice house in a nice, quiet, safe neighborhood. You also get rid of your old Chevy, whose engine announces your presence from miles away. and get a newer model of Honda Civic that aligns with your current corporate status. But you never get to enjoy your new beautiful home because you work endless hours, and when you get home, you drop on your bed like a lump of wood and won't wake up until the alarm rings. Because you're in a race to make a better life for yourself, your significant other, and the family you're hoping to get someday soon, you grind and deal with toxic bosses and colleagues. But at the moment, you don't feel like there's a way out because you have to make this money. But you have upgraded your living situation, which is a great milestone. You now have new gadgets, can get Alexa to play your favorite jams as you take a shower, and you don't even have to get out of bed to switch off the lights because Alexa can do it for you. After all, it's the small wins, right? Number 5. Getting a family. When you feel like you can handle raising a family because your job pays you a decent income to keep your family afloat, you go ahead and do all the formalities, get married, and start raising a family. You have small ones that are running to the door to greet you when you come home early, which makes you feel like you have conquered it all. You have a big office, a decent salary, and a beautiful home with a white picket fence. A companion that loves you and doesn't mind your smelly socks strewn all over the place, and some little ones running around. But your job is also demanding, which means that sometimes you don't get home until much later when everyone is asleep. This means that you don't get to have dinner with the rest of the family and are not there to tuck the little ones in. You quickly get a bite to eat of what was left for you in the microwave, take a quick shower, and drop like a lump of wood again. The morning is a mad dash for the door to beat traffic and be at the meeting on time, which means you didn't have time to spend with your family, but you know that they understand that you are trying to give them a better life. Your parents hardly ever hear from you and are always complaining that you never visit anymore, but you explain to them how crazy work has been, and even though they don't say it, they know that your work is taking too much of your time. They lovingly ask you to find some time to bring the grandchildren to visit, which you swear to do soon, but never get around to doing it. Number 4. Competing to get ahead. Because as human beings, we are always in a rush to find the next best thing. You feel that you have accomplished many things that you wanted to since graduating college. Your salary is enviable. Your home is the envy of many. Your family seems happy. You're driving a nice car, and your colleagues respect you. You feel like you can now start investing some of your money, but as you progress financially, your responsibilities and demands become steeper, which means that your money is not enough to meet all those responsibilities and leave you any left to invest. Your children are in the best schools, which is a great investment for their future, but you're spending an arm and a leg on school fees and other family demands. This is when you feel like the office you're occupying at the moment is too small for you, and as the competition gets stiffer, you are in this race to get ahead of everybody else, which means that you will have to work harder and longer to get the managerial position. You again beat your colleagues and get a big position, and the vicious cycle continues of not being there for your family emotionally. Your significant other is starting to raise serious concerns in your marriage, and you tell yourself that once you're where you want to be, you will give them all the attention in the world, and these issues will be a thing of the past. Number 3. Aiming for the corner office. Remember when you were thinking that after you got your managerial position, you would be content? Well, you couldn't have been more wrong. You were addicted to chasing success, which requires you to grow beyond where you are right now and get into a position that is above the position you currently hold. In this case, you're aiming for the corner office, which is reserved for the highest-ranking employees in the company. The company feels proud to have you and is not afraid to promote you because you have done your best and can be trusted. But the thing is, you're still working for someone else, which means you're helping the company to advance at the expense of your own time, family, health, and relationships. You may be financially advancing, but you're suffering emotional deterioration because of all the long hours you have to work, the time you're away from your family, and the poor eating habits you have adopted so that you can beat deadlines and hit targets. But you've achieved another goal and got the corner office. But the question is, now what? Number 2. Sitting on the board. Now that you got the corner office, you are one of the most trusted members of the company, which means sitting with the other board of directors brainstorming. Your status has changed. You feel great and know that if your college friends could see you now, they wouldn't be laughing anymore because you have achieved the dream you were discussing almost 20 years ago. After all, not many mid-40s people get to sit on the board. You have sacrificed so much, and now that you're making more money, your marriage is on the rocks, and your children have gone through all soccer games without you being a part of it. Sure, you sent them to the best schools and spend a lot of money on their tuition and school fees, but are not emotionally there because you were busy chasing success. You suddenly realize that your kids have no emotional attachment to you as much as they do to your significant other. This brings a little resentment on your part because while your significant other was there physically, you were also there financially, working hard to provide the best for your family. Before we get into number 1, make sure to check out the links in the description for our best recommendations to boost your savings. Number 1. Seeing no end in sight. Now that you're a fiduciary, your interests are not your own but your company's. One evening, after a particularly grueling day with the board, you're driving home, and it suddenly dawns on you that apart from the company's interests, you have none of your own. You don't even know what you like to do with your free time, because you haven't had any in a long time, and you suddenly feel tired and worn out. You start thinking about your family and how much you miss them, how much time you've wasted chasing success instead of being with them, and emotions get the best of you. You feel like there's no end in sight. You're stuck in the rat race and can't seem to get yourself out because it's what you've known since you left school. But you make the wisest decision you've ever made since you became sucked up into the corporate sector and run to your family for help. Your significant other is willing to forgive you if you're willing to change and be there for them more. And you start making small but life-changing decisions. You start rediscovering yourself, investing, and making a more conscious effort to be present in the lives of the people that love you. Eventually, these decisions help you get out of the rat race and start living your life on your own terms. If this is your life at the moment, you're not the only one, because many people have been stuck working for a check month in and month out, and have wasted their prime years by being employed by someone else. But you can escape the rat race by deciding to do things differently, like starting your own business, following your passion, and doing things that make you feel happy, peaceful, and fulfilled. Make sure to check out the next video. You're going to get a ton of value from this one. See you there.